This is your daily market review for Monday, December 9th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Monday, December 9th, 2024. Hope you had a good long weekend. It's an interesting start of the week. Now, we know the CPI, PPI data is coming out Wednesday and Thursday. We know the Fed meeting is next week. Something, again, about today's market, we talked about in the Discord room. I posted on Twitter and also in the room that felt like there was going to be a pullback as we've come into the highs with inflation. If you go actually look at the inflation numbers, they look like they're about to come in as is or higher. Now, that can't help the Feds for cutting rates. Who knows how the market's going to react to that? It doesn't surprise me that there is some profit taking going into that. However, you had a mixed market, in my opinion. You had some names up, some stuff down. You had China announce that they're going to go pretty loose on monetary policy, if they can. And yeah, you saw some things moving in the market. It wasn't one direction for everything. But however, the market did pull back. We saw some leaders lag, some laggards lead. Very interesting market. We're going to dig into it. And this is why, again, like the more you're up, the less you own. You can trade around your positions, but also be aware that there's going to be times where it just you have to take some profit because you never know. Because again, imagine if this is the top and you didn't take any profit. I mean, top meaning, again, however long your time frame is, what you're trading on, you may have missed out on some opportunities to take profits. And we saw some action that looked like it was leading to that. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. Check out the Calendly link if you'd like to chat, invest in real estate. You're talking about, and again, if you want to invest in real estate, buy, sell, invest. Buy, sell, invest. Yep. My brain's a little fried. Yep. And all of that stuff. Again, you're talking about you need help with trading. Don't hesitate to reach out. Again, use the link. Let's chat. This is free for now. At some point, I'll probably end up bumping this up. But hey, you know what? I want to offer this as an incentive to get involved. Let me know how I can help. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on. If you're looking to do real estate deals, you get 2 agents for the price of one. I can tell you how my team and I can help. All right. Twitter. Also posting the trades. This is a home that we sold. Got 20% over market price. Beautiful house. But talked about some of the trades here. Check it out. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also on the YouTube. If you'd like to donate to the channel, hit the thanks button if you're watching YouTube. 99 cents, I think, is the minimum, but whatever you want to do. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are the shiznit. And again, I appreciate people participating. Again, check out the tradingagent.com. Has resources as well. Turn profits into properties and passive income. Recommend reading. What's going on with the Twitters. All the fun stuff. So let's dig into it. So we know this number was 87% on Friday. I know it had come down just a little bit, but again, essentially a rate cut coming in 2 weeks. Again, this can change, subject to, be careful. Bitcoin, Michael Saylor's out there pumping a million. Pretty interesting. We'll see. Again, I've told folks I try to be indifferent. Again, it's just like I like certain assets better than others, but I don't get blinded by the reality of the price action. Like we've talked about, the more you're up, the less you own. This looked like a blowout candle on Thursday. Until you get over it, it's chop. Until you get under it, it's chop. So don't be surprised if this goes nowhere for a while. Oil, decent little bounce. Just come on, refresh. Little bounce today off the range lows. Not surprised. Natty gas, same kind of thing. Little bit of bounce. Keep an eye on this stuff. Again, I like commodities long term, but don't be surprised by demand destruction. It's a real thing. When the economy's slowing, GDP slowing, I mean, that's what you're going to get. Dollar, we talked about the 20-day being really important. Seems to be hovering and tracking it. Somebody asked me on Stock Twits, why are moving averages are for dinosaurs? I'm like, well, why do they seem to still be important? Right? Every stock has their different moving averages as importance or a trend. And sometimes trends can have differing moving averages of importance. Well, it looks like the 20-day is pretty important. And again, even though it's below it, it's holding near it. Keep an eye on it, right? TLT. So we talked about getting into this range. First up, backing off. I mean, you really need to hold this little area here, in my opinion. 93 to 95. I know it's a big range, but here's the thing, right? You have clearly a double bottom. So we'll see what happens here. Again, if you got in at the lows, stops your entry. You're now just, I don't know. Again, not everything moves in one direction all the time. VIX, we told you, the VIX had bottomed. Now, near term, how high can it go? Maybe 17, if I had to guess. Maybe 15 to 16 to 17 near term, if I had to guess. Worth a watch. Sorry, sniffling. It's cold here. It's going to snow. I was just out for a walk. We talked about the VIVIX bottoming. Yeah, okay. There you go. Bazingas. Keep it simple, stupid. SPY. Talked about the multiple dojis the last couple days of indecision. Now you're pulling back to the 8 and 10 day. If that breaks, then the 20 day, which is conveniently right here at 598. Keep an eye on it. Because again, I wouldn't be surprised by a pullback in front of the CPI. We've had a nice run. We talked about this. QQQ, channel high, failure potentially. Maybe it gets back down to the 20 day, 510. Maybe it's just a gap test. I mean, it's hard to anticipate big moves before news because you don't know the reaction, because we've seen high inflation and the market goes higher. We've seen high inflation and the market goes lower. I don't know what to tell you. However, I do know near term it feels like a little overbought. Not surprised we're getting a little bit of a pullback. Could this be the top? That's where it gets interesting to me, because the IWM has been lagging. Closing at the lows, close below the 20 day. Something's going on there. Again, small caps should be leading up. I trust markets that have small caps leading up. I know we had a couple years of megatech, and that's fine. But man, something looks a little ominous. DIA, channel high popping. See what happens here. Gold. China goes stimulus. We said we got to close over the 50 day. Got to close over the downtrend. That is not the candle you want to see. A gap up and close at the low. Not saying it can't happen in time, but it's just that's not really what you would like to see as a bull. Need more information. Again, it's like one of the things we've talked about, like silver. We talked about this lagging, not the ideal candle. I apologize, I didn't draw this earlier. I'll give it here. I don't like seeing silver lag. Just keep an eye on it, watching the range. Again, GDXJ, GDX, and they all close at the low of the day. Those don't look bullish. And I've warned folks, again, if the market pulls back, miners get whacked. That's what's crazy here. Is like you should see the action here. You see gold, silver up. Look at these candles. They don't look good. But again, you need more data, in my opinion, to make that final decision. AEM, retest that chop zone. I got to give AG a little credit. It looked a little better, but then look at this wick, right? I was like, okay, this thing's good. No. That is a big-ass wick, y'all. Again, it doesn't mean necessarily it's going down. It'd be like this thing. Like if you looked at this candle, you'd say 80% certainty it's going to go chop or down from here. If it goes higher, then that would be the anomaly. Newmont, we talked about it bottoming here at the 41-40 area. PAAS, keep an eye on it, right? I mean, all these names. I mean, you just cannot like this action. These look like arrows telling you what the direction is next. Doesn't look bullish, in my opinion. Taiwan Semi, we talked about this one popping up on last week because they were going to have a deal with NVIDIA in Arizona. Said we need to follow through. Ugh, keep an eye on it. That's a tough one. Micron, another one of those names that's going nowhere. AMD got cooked today. Yikes. Taking out the range lows. Watch out. NVIDIA, we talked about this dead cat bounce. Man, I apologize. We don't know the exact highs. But here we go. 50-day needs to hold. We talked about there was a bounce coming. You got a lower high. Now let's see if you get a lower low. Next low would probably be like that 100-day in that gap fill. That's why I'd be watching that 127 plus area. SMCI, again, they approved their own numbers, which is interesting. Right? Company is struggling with issues, fills the gap. But again, along the way, they're like, oh, accounting firm quit on us, but our numbers are good. Trust us. Okay, we'll see. Again, it's a trading vehicle, in my opinion. Intel, we talked about this one being a piece of crap. And now, near term, it's probably a little bit oversold, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. SMH, we talked about this one. This like hammer here. All right, coming back down. Again, I think semis are the easiest short, in my opinion. Adobe, what is that? Earnings. They had earnings. Oh, it's Wednesday after the close. Could it fill the gap? Now it's feeling like it might not. Again, personally, I no position watching. Apple, people talking about taking the short today. I mean, it makes sense if the market is going to peak near term. However, I've been burned by Apple before, knowing that it can play games. Maybe me not playing it is the time that it is to short it. So if you're shorting it, and I'm not in it, probably going to go lower at some point. Or it could break out and continue higher like it already has. We'll see. Amazon, again, here's this long wick. Yeah, I think, again, the market is in a position where at worst you're going to get chops. These hammers will either lead to chops or they're going to be the top. We talked about Meta, nice trade, rising up, hit the spot, you good. CRM said looked like a double top. Then you have the gap up. I said this looked ominous. And not because, again, ultimately that the stock is going to zero or something. It's just you had the big gap at the low to trap bears. Do you have a big gap at the high to trap bulls? That's how I'm looking at it. Guggenheim, we've talked about this one. Just seems to be in a chop range. Not really much between the 200-day and 180s. Not much. It's hard. That's a hard one. Mr. Softy holding up pretty well today. Credit where credit's due. Was it fill the gap at 450 plus? That's worth watching. NDAQ, finally. Yeah, I'm not in this one. That's fine. I got some other names. We hit 1.6 window. I know some folks who took it, and I'm like, at least somebody's making money off of this. 84 down to 79. I mean, again, I think the future is not in the Nasdaq exchange. It's going to be in commodities. MicroStrategy. Okay, interesting action. Again, like a big candle. Talk about a top. Here you go. Lower high. 20-day break. Yikes. So you've got to now hold 341. Now, I like the 20-day. We play, like, not we, but I know people played the bounce. I think they made like a 50, 60 points. Not sad. Not bad. Have the 20-day breaks. Oof. I mean, you're talking about low threes. Like mid to like 320s, 330s. Netflix, again, rising up like it on fire. Don't understand that one. Nothing to say here. Again, watch the 8-10-day. It's been riding it the whole way up. Again, oh, why do moving averages matter? Oh, I don't know. Roblox, this one's interesting, right? Nice big up move. I wonder if this is what Apple's going to do, right? You break out, you have a big green candle, you have an indecision day. That's where Apple might make sense on Thursday if that formation is repeating pattern. Keeping on again, Pan W. I mean, look at this. Like, man, looks amazing. Hits the range highs, kapow. Got to be careful in this market. That's why I'm like trying to tell people, like, you got to trade around your positions. In my opinion, the risk reward is not up, but some stocks look better than others and some aren't. That's, you have to be careful, right? Like if you rode Tesla up, right, you're getting a little greedy. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily it has to like pull back and go back down to 200, but damn, you went from 200 up to 400, a double in a month and change. Okay. We'll see if it can continue. Insight, right? This one has been, a name that I like. I'm still, again, we talked about, be patient and wait for this to pull back. Palantir. Now, this looks like it could be, again, broken record, right? Today's interesting, right? The candle is now much larger. The volume's increasing. I'd be keeping an eye on that one. Mike McDonald, da-da-da-da-da. Talked about this one, chopping around, 50-day. DKNG, you're welcome. Said if the 20-day breaks, you feel pretty good about it. Now we closed below it, but the point being is if you're short from the 44 to 45 area, you're feeling pretty damn good. And that's all that matters to me. Now, define your risk. Set your stop at your entry if you want. You can't lose here. I feel like, again, sports betting's got a tremendous amount of issues the way it's priced in my opinion. Airbnb, chopping around. Costco. This one's been on fire. This one's not much to say there. Just be careful. Starbucks. Felt like it was going to break out. Now it's back at the chop zone. I mean, zoom out. I mean, this has just gone nowhere for a long time. FedEx. Here you go. People were like, oh, it's due for a bounce. Yep. XDiv. Okay. Should not much of anything. Caterpillar was up. I mean, remember, it was up like a ton of points today on the China news. Look at that. That's not really a candle you expect to see. Right? Keep an eye on that, okay? DE. We talked about this one. Nice rip, pulling back. Keep an eye on it. Nucor. This one seems like oversold. Again, they're back at the range of lows. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, just be careful. I know China's cutting. Okay, well, the rest of the world's sick. China's cutting. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, but we'll see. Again, here you go, VALE. This is a very China-sensitive name. Nice little gap up. Could this one have more in it? That's interesting. Again, I don't trust these names. Again, copper, they all got a bounce today. Man, look at that wick. Not pretty. CCJ finally starting to get... Again, if you have no rubber band man theory, like getting tired, the moves are getting smaller. It's clearly like some sort of channel top here. 20-day. That's a big red candle. I got to steal one of these and put that there. Just worth a watch. Right? Keep an eye on it. CF. Ag names. Man, it looked like they were going to, some of them break it out and then some giving up. Mosaic looks like, hey, it's great. It's awesome. And TR, hey, look at this. It's going to the moon. No, none of these are going to the near term. We've talked about them. Gotta let them play out. AA, this one's a hard one, right? Because you feel like you want to chase it because you think aluminum and it's acting well. Just let it pull back. Again, I want to buy stocks when people are panicking. I don't want to chase them up. And when I chase them up, meaning like at this point, what's the purpose? Was the risk reward? No, a lot of people struggle with that. And they're like, they can't be patient. XLF, we talked about it. Here you go. Here's a chop top, breaking the 20-day. Shout out. Again, post your trades, folks. I love giving people shout outs. Jay Solstice was saying JP Morgan. I mean, again, this one is so easy because, in my opinion, they're not even buying back their own stock. Watch the 20-day. I mean, it's a very simple trade, right? Tight stops. 8, 10-day, go. Morgan Stanley, take out the range lows, goodbye. Bank of America, holding up. We'll see. Breaking the 20-day, right? They all had their dividend. It's like, oops. I mean, I think Goldman was up, 3 or 4 points at some point today? Boom, gave it all back up. Let's keep it on. A carry, we've tested this. Like, it looks pretty fake in my opinion. Here you go, a lower low. Some of these copper names had some decent names today. Again, I'm just Freeport. A lot of these names popped. Look at these candles, y'all. XBI, and here's a name, like risk on name. Just chopping. Jets. Notice this one was up earlier in the day and then boom, gave it all back. Telling you this feels like a novice gap trap. I know if Jay's, I mean, again, I'm shout out to Jay because he's been posting trades. Like, dude, if that's it, there you go, bro. Shout out to you, my friend. XHB housing stocks just kind of look stuck. Solar, dead cat bounces abound. We've talked about this stuff being shorted, over shorted, and due to bounce, but then it pulls back. It's just one of those things where I don't have any faith in it. I look at these names, I go, they're just trading vehicles. If you want to short them, pick and choose your spots. It's just, I think they'll be, I don't know. I don't think solar is going to have a lot of oomph near term, especially if oil and gas get slapped around a little bit. HYG, again, you got to be high to your mind to buy corporate debt. Oil, talked about this earlier, had a nice little bounce today, coming off, I don't know, range lowish. UNG, I'm not a fan of this product. Right. KOLD, this is the short in the 80s, cover in the 50s. Seems to be holding up pretty darn well. Keep an eye on it. Again, I'd like to see, holding up, I'd like to see this get back up into the 80s, and then I will run that trade. XOP, we talked about this one, global growth stuff, like not looking that good. I feel like the 133s and the gap fill is coming. CVE, this one, I like, you got to like these names down here. But here's the thing, right? I've seen these patterns before where they just chop around, hold lows, and then boom, the market gets busted, and all of these names get freaking cooked too. And then you get prices on them that you go, you're like, oh my God, ExxonMobil, it's 70. You're like, oh my God. You could see some crazy shit. I'm telling you, excuse my language. And again, I don't mean to swear, but you could see stuff, panic at the disco. Worth the watch. Again, I'm not shorting these names, but I'm just watching. Occidental, again, a name I like long-term, right? Buffett's buying this thing, but man, let this big chop zone. EQT, some of the homies rode this one up, took some profit. Yeah, big chop. Flex LNG, again, I think we'll be natural gas exporters. Look what happened in Syria. Holy crap, right? Now the pipeline from whatever, Yemen or Qatar can now flow to Europe. That was a big deal. And again, I don't like to talk about geopolitics, but Syria now becoming free for flowing natural gas, because again, it was in Russia's best interest to keep Middle Eastern natural gas from going to Europe. We'll see what happens here. Again, I eventually thought the U.S. would be sending a bunch too. This is where these shipping companies. So we'll see. Let's see what happens here. All right. Either way, please be careful. PPI, CPI, some earnings. Got GameStop earnings on Tuesday. No, I'm just kidding. No, but CPI Wednesday, PPI Thursday. You got Adobe Wednesday, Avago, Costco, Red Hat. Sorry, not Red Hat, Restoration Hardware. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are awesome. I genuinely do appreciate all you guys. So if you have any questions, especially in the family, hit me up. No problem. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.